Okay, welcome back. So I figured I should actually introduce myself and tell you who I am when I'm making these videos, right? Because I didn't do it in the first two. So anyways, hi, my name is Gasper Jager. I'm a solo developer trying to make my own first game. I've been working in entertainment fields for over 14 years, mainly with video production and photography. And I've been working on the side a little bit with Unreal Engine, trying to learn it as a 3D tool, to make animations and stuff, but then it kind of fell into game development as, hey, I could maybe do something with this, and then it got me hooked, and now I'm trying to close up a game. So, in today's video, I want to talk about the arena design, and what the whole point is. Because when you think about it, any arena shooter or any just shooter game in general, they're all about shooting. I know it kind of sounds ridiculous, but think about it, right? So there are third-person or first-person shooters, if you take that category, and the biggest difference between them is generally the location, and sometimes like the weapons. But the theory is kind of the same, right? So you grab a weapon and you shoot the other team, in regardless whatever game mode you're playing. So this is why I got excited when Lyra got out, because it's basically a preset shooter game, so I don't have to do with all logic, but I can play with the design of the arenas and make this part interesting. Because making 3D environments is way easier than actually programming gaming logic, for me at least. And I wanted to just, somehow make something of my own with a specific lighting style and assets that would be interesting. And that got me thinking, like, at first just wanted to use a bunch of pre-made environments and modify them a little bit to what I was liking, put like pickups inside in terms of like where do you get the weapons once you join the arena, where are the health bars, some jumps, some teleports that were already built into Lyra. But then it got me thinking that, because I showed it to a friend of mine and he was like, okay, it looks nice, but what's the point? Like, how are you different than anybody else? And that got me thinking, and I decided that I want to do these really short matches, kind of like very small, very clean, as I've talked about in the previous video, in terms of the menus and no promotions and stuff. But also I wanted to kind of, make it feel like this is a futuristic gladiator fighting. So kind of like if you imagine Hunger Games, the films, you had this futuristic society where people were fighting in this arena that had, I don't know, let's say a forest or some kind of a vibe, but there were traps and modern approaches to how everything was, manipulated for the players, so it was fun to watch. So it's kind of like what I was going for here. So basically I have this arena asset, and inside this arena asset I wanted to create maps. So the arena, the background would always be kind of the same. So my wish is that I could fill this with crowd simulation, and I'm trying to figure out how to really do it without, overloading the processes, because there's already like graphically rather heavy. Let me see if I can actually go in and just, show you this feeling from the arena. Wow, okay, so the player stats were super high. Okay, but we're all alive. So here's the thing, right? You're playing around and there's this entirely huge arena which feels very Roman-like, and whatever the setup is in here gives you like a lot of variety. So this is like the one common thing that everything has together. So you're a gladiator fighting in a futuristic battlefield, TV show, whatever, for the pleasure and enjoyment of your fellow Roman citizens. And had some really crazy ideas about how these maps could actually, form up and go up and down and left and right. So, I'm on the top of the arena. Huh? Yeah, so interesting. But anyways, so this is kind of like the basis. And the way I do it is I take this and then I drop other levels inside it and then manipulate them so that they kind of just fit this central ground. Let's see if I can show you one of them now. Stop in game. So I've done many maps. As you can see here, these are all levels of different maps. I prepare them. Here's the thing. Originally, when I started working on this game, I made these maps rather huge. It was enjoyable because I'm gonna say it felt very cinematic. I know this is a word that people love to abuse and just, you know, throw around, and everything's cinematic these days. But I wanted this to feel more cinematic in terms of lighting, so it would be more dramatic than most of the games. I felt like this is where I could be different from other people, because I'm from a video background and I've been dealing with cinematics for a long time. Cinematic approaches, you know, lighting and stuff. And most of the game people, game developers, they just do things in a certain game style. And because I don't want to work on my own art, I can work on my own lighting though, and make this feel a little bit different. Let me show you in one of those, assuming they load. Let me see. Here, as you can see, we have this original arena, and this entire thing here is basically another level map that was just kind of dropped inside this arena, right? So I pre-package it in a different level, and then I just duplicate this game level, which is tied to Lyra and all the game settings, and then they just kind of drop in another level. I would show you here, but this normally like doesn't really work super well. So I'm gonna try later, assuming it doesn't really crash. But here's an idea, right? And as you can see, it's not perfect. There's like a lot of issues here. There are some, I don't know what this is, to be honest with you. Some stuff that I haven't cleaned correctly from my previous game, and maybe there's like a way for me to do this nicer. But still, let me show you how ideally this would feel like. If I go into the game now, I would like there to be enough room for, you know, oh, that's definitely not okay. That's super bad. Took about 45 minutes and several crashes right now just to get this started. It was, first of all, Unreal froze, then my QuickTime recording froze, and I have no idea why, and it's probably gonna do it again, and if it does, I'm gonna stop doing this. But anyways, here's the thing. I kind of got excited over the small arena. Kind of like, you know, in the famous one in Call of Duty where you have those shipping crates, and it's like a really small one, you run around and doing stuff. But as I've been testing this and playing this, I'm not so sure anymore that this is like a good thing to do, because it gets too cluttered, and it's actually very difficult to, you know, enjoy and just kind of maybe strategize a little and move into a position. Like I don't want to make it like a battle royale size map, which is huge, but I'm starting to get like a feeling of anxiety when I'm playing with this arena this small, and I really don't like it. Like I'll show you, right? So you kind of go in, and immediately there's, you know, fighting happening all around you. And, you know, maybe if this was like an actual labyrinth, then yes, this could work. But here is just like you're within shooting range. Tone this down, sorry. You're within the shooting range of everybody else, right? So if I go to like a higher position here, you can see that over there are guys, and I can actually even throw grenades that far. Or maybe not. Let me see. Yeah, I can. And I don't know, you know what I mean? It's supposed to be just, I don't know, slightly bigger, this whole thing. Maybe. I've been playing more shooter games recently, and I kind of love this middle ground of, you know, the size of the arena, when there's enough coverage so it's not just like randomly shooting, you know, one over the other kind of thing, but you do get a chance to like also move around and maybe wait behind a corner for somebody. I feel like that's the interesting part. Like this could actually work. This could work. Like if I put in, you know, maybe more obstacles for place to hide, kind of like a labyrinth design in a small area with a specific kind of weapon that you're given for such an arena, it could work, right? But I don't know. I'm gonna show you now on screen. I'm not gonna hand play it, but because it's a previous recording from a previous build that I did. But I'm gonna show you on screen design I had, like in terms of lighting, what kind of really moody environmental light I had. Like, so it was pretty dark The idea was you're in a dark forest, it's snowing, and the way this game is kind of designed is like you don't see enemies, you only see like the shapes, you only see tags above your own people, right? Kind of like in most other shooter games. So it's very difficult to see an enemy because it's a dark enemy in a dark environment. Out of everything I did, that map is probably still my favorite map I've ever done. I don't know why, it was just like so incredibly powerful. Being in this dark forest, moving around, sneaking, just, you know, trying not to get noticed and then shoot somebody, and I feel like it was just big enough. I'm not sure, I'm thinking of going back towards something like that. If you have any thoughts in terms of like how you like your arena designs in shooter games, whether if it's like really big or really small, kind of like let me know. But I feel like for sure it can't be, you know, Fortnite level big, because these matches are supposed to be much shorter. I think Call of Duty has some of the maps which are kind of perfect in size, so you know the action always concentrates in like a specific part. But what I have here, for example, this one is just not big enough. Like the Greek arena actually works. If it, you know, worked, I could show you. But let me try to see again if I can maybe get it in an older persuasion. Maybe an older map of it works. Like this one was bigger, but you'll get an idea of what I actually mean. When you're moving around, it's a full-scale game level environment. So this one actually has, you know, it has a good feeling, but in a previous build I was actually using the entirety of a Greek island, and I'll show you this now on screen. It's just, it got too big at some point. You know, like if you want to keep it 5 versus 5, like the action always concentrates in a part of the arena, you know, like it's never a full thing, which is not bad per se by itself. But you know, I just don't want to overkill it with, I don't know, landscape. But on the other hand, thinking about it now, I mean, having a little bit more space was more enjoyable to play. It felt I felt less anxiety than here when everything is super duper cluttered. So I don't know, maybe this could work. Maybe I should go back to, you know, bigger arenas, because the best idea that I've actually had, so right now what I have is just this, is teleportation, is jumping up and forward, which are the elements that are kind of built into the Lyra. But I would like to do, you know, traps and random enemy spawning, kind of like so let's say, so you're in a dark forest, you're playing, and you walk over like a trigger, kind of like in Indiana Jones or something, and like you're in a dark forest and a bear spawns, or like like just some random monster or a dragon, and it starts killing everybody, right? So it's this disturbing element that has nothing to do with deathmatch versus deathmatch, but it's a disruptive element that makes it feel more like kind of Hunger Games style arena show, right? So it's more a show for the audience, not so much for just, you know, who can shoot whom better. I don't know, I'm pretty excited about this, but you know, the more and more I'm working on this and the more it's crashing, the more I'm getting back to actually realizing that by nature I'm a creative guy. So like I work as a creative director in advertisement, and I'm really good with forming ideas and putting them together to fit, to make a whole. I'm not really the kind of guy who would dive deep into everything and become the greatest at execution, you know, kind of like here with development. There's just so much depth to Unreal Engine, it's difficult. And I feel like my strength kind of lies in just imagining what the potential could be and just designing it in a way so that it fits together. But I'm having troubles, honestly, you know, kind of making some of the stuff that I'm envisioning a reality. Probably it would be very easy for somebody who is a skilled developer in Unreal. For me, it's very tough. So I don't know. We'll kind of see how that works. So here's the bottom line idea, right? Arena with an audience, futuristic level, theme of every arena, but not just, you know, kind of like Call of Duty, so you have like Middle East, your Africa, your, you know, like real world locations. But I want to make this, you know, in space, like jumping between asteroids, and then you're gonna have like historic themes where mummies wake up and kind of like start chasing everybody. So it's half survival, half shooter game. Now I was thinking like complete jungle or maybe underwater, anything that would be interesting as like a TV show, right? Kind of thing, kind of imagine like a reality TV thing. Okay, my computer actually woke up. Let me show you. So this one is already the smaller one. Let me see if I can actually get in and start playing. We'll see if it works. And, you know, it also kind of makes sense, like if the arenas are bigger, then you can introduce these elements like, oh, so there's something super wrong with the Greek island because this is obviously not working. Lucky for me, this is not a tutorial, but a production diary, because, you know, obviously you see things are just crashing a lot and like you need to figure out how to do it. But, you know, this is like an idea of, here you go, coming back on the other side. Well, obviously I got nothing else to show you. Like, I know I wanted this to be more exciting, but everything's crashing for me. And I'll make another video, like once I figure out why my arenas are crashing so much and why everything is just kind of, you know, not responsive. You'll see, you know, but just like if you imagine already this arena is kind of smaller. So if you want to teleport from one place to another, if you want to have, you know, super jumping, then yeah, I think I'm going to have to go back to bigger arenas, making them larger, scale them up.